Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we make sense of the financial jungle, and today we're diving into One World Products Inc.'s latest report, where things are really heating up with some new business ventures and a name change on the horizon. So One World Products Inc. has filed its quarterly report, and it's a really interesting look at where this company is heading, especially with a big acquisition and a shift in their core business. Let's break down the numbers and see what is really going on behind the scenes. First, let's look at how they're remanaging their money for the 6 months ending the 30th of June 2025. They used $448,841 in operating activities, which sounds like a lot, but it is actually less than the $729,707 they used in the same period last year. So they were at least spending less cash to keep the lights on. On the flip side, they reported a net loss of $521,582 for the first 6 months of 2025. That might sound bad, but it is a huge improvement compared to the massive $2,566,081 loss they had in the same period last year. This big drop in losses is mainly because they are not dealing with those massive early debt extinguishment costs anymore, and the headaches from deconsolidating foreign operations have passed. Now, let's check out the company's financial standing. As of the 30th of June 2025, their cash on hand was only $13,615. That is a pretty low number, especially when you look at their total assets, which are also listed as $226,220. This raises a big question about their ability to keep operating, a concern also highlighted in the report. Looking at their liabilities, they have $3,424,474 in current liabilities. That includes things like money owed to suppliers, which is $622,770, and also $798,263 for accrued expenses like salaries and other costs that haven't been paid yet. When you compare their current assets of $226,220 to their current liabilities adding up to over $3 million, it paints a picture of negative working capital, meaning they owe more than they have in easily accessible assets. They also have a significant amount of preferred stock, with Series A convertible preferred stock showing $1,147,330. They also have Series B convertible preferred stock listed at a substantial $3577515. Now for the really tough part, their accumulated deficit is a staggering $31,386,280. This means that over the company's life, their expenses have far outweighed their revenues, which is typical for early stage companies, but a significant hurdle nonetheless. This huge deficit contributes to their negative total stockholders' equity of over $10 million. Let's briefly touch on revenues. For the 3 months ending the 30th of June 2025, revenues were a mere $282, a big drop from the $1,254 in the same period last year. For the 6 months, it's a slightly better picture with revenues of $1,653 this year compared to $1,536 last year. A small increase, but still a very low number overall. The report mentions these revenues come from selling CBD products, but they are not really focused on that business anymore. Operating expenses are worth noting general, and administrative expenses were $86,685 for the 3 months, ending the 30th of June 2025, down from $150,785 last year. Similarly, for the 6-month period, these expenses dropped from $349,632 to $185,353. This reduction is partly due to cutting costs from their South American operations. Professional fees also saw a significant decrease, dropping from $223,667 to $84,633 for the 3-month period, and from $802,338 to $120,601 for the 6-month period. This seems to be linked to a reduction in stock-based payments to directors and consultants. The company is also undergoing a name change. They're planning to change their name from One World Products Inc. to Accession Enterprises Inc. This name change isn't effective in the stock market yet, but reflects a new direction. A major development mentioned is the acquisition of Eco Bioplastics Midland Inc. In July 2025, they bought substantially all its assets for $515,000 in cash. This acquisition marks a clear shift in their strategy, moving towards plant-based and biodegradable plastics, especially for the automotive industry. They talking about using hemp-based materials and developing industrial solutions. This is a big pivot from their previous focus. The company has a lot of debt, and a good chunk of it is from related parties. As of the 30th of June 2025, they owed $25,804.50 from related parties, after accounting for debt discounts. This includes money owed to figures like Isaiah L., Thomas III, their chairman and CEO, and Dr. John McCabe. On top of that, they have other notes payable to non-related parties. For instance, they have notes totaling $1,635,000 from entities like SDT Equities LLC and AJB Capital Investments LLC. These notes come with considerable interest rates and conversion options into company stock. They are also using stock options to incentivize people. As of the 30th of June 2025, they had over 10 million options outstanding. They recognized about $11,468 in compensation expense for these options in the first half of 2025. An important disclosure here is that management admitted their disclosure controls and procedures were not effective as of the 30th of June 2025. This means they acknowledge that the systems they have in place to ensure accurate and timely public information might not be fully working, which is a significant red flag for transparency and investor confidence. Their inventory levels are quite low, with only $12,434 worth at the end of June 2025. This is consistent with their product sales being very minimal. After the report period on the 11th of July 2025, they completed the acquisition of Eco Bioplastics Midland Inc., as mentioned, investing a significant amount of cash. They also signed an employment agreement with Fukuji Saotome as Chief Operating Officer for the newly acquired business, and also granted him a substantial stock option grant. And in a very interesting turn, in July, they're looking to finalize a secured note and deed of trust for Dr. John McCabe, backing up his advances to support the acquisition and operations of the new business unit. This structure indicates a significant financial reliance on key individuals. So, what is the big picture here? We see a company clearly trying to reinvent itself with a new focus on sustainable materials and a major acquisition. However, the flip side is the extremely low cash balance, a very high accumulated deficit, and significant debt. While the reduction in losses and operating expenses is positive, the company is still burning through cash and has a long way to go to prove its business model, especially with the recent acquisition. The effectiveness of their controls also needs serious attention. It looks like they're banking heavily on the success of this new Eco Bioplastics venture to turn things around. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.